What is leadership for you?
You know, leadership is one of those topics that everybody touches and they know it exists, but it's hard to specifically define. Leadership is when somebody works hard to make somebody else better. And let me give two or three phrases that may capture that. There's a phrase in the field by a group that says, build on your strengths. It's a great idea, but that's not leadership. Leadership is build on your strengths that strengthen others. And leadership is about strengthening others because of your strengths. Leadership is not about your power. It's how you use your power to empower somebody else. And so leadership is not about what I know and do. It's how what I know and do helps somebody else know and do what they need to know and do. And so one of my great tests of leadership, and I do research and I love statistics and I love writing and all the statistics that go with it, but it's an intuitive one. When I leave an interaction with a leader or an individual, do I feel better or worse about myself? A good leader leaves an interaction feeling better about him or herself. That's what leadership is. I've had an interaction with you now for, I'm looking at the clock, for 14 minutes. I already feel better about myself. The way you behave, the way you question, the way you're curious, you make me feel better. That's what leadership is helping somebody else feel better. The value of leadership is not what you know and do. It's how you help other people know and do what they need to do.
What would you say would be the top 3 problems that they normally face?
You know, I'm gonna suggest 5.
Okay.
I love research and I really enjoy collecting data. Sometimes statistics and big data sets. We've just done 3 big research projects. One with 28,000 people, one with 1,000 companies, and one with over 7,000 companies. But I also love to look at other people's research and learn from it. So a few years ago, we said, so what are the challenges leaders have and what do good leaders need to know and do? So I did something really interesting in terms of research. I went to 15 people. That's not very many. But these 15 people had collectively written 100 books on leadership. So if you go to the people, Bob Eichinger, there are books on my shelf. And they'd done over 1 million leadership 360s. And I said, you know more than I do. What do leaders need to do and respond to challenges? And as I summarized that, there were 5. Here they are. Strategy. You need to have a direction for the future. This is so simple. Where are we going? What's next? Execution. How do we make sure things get done? We make promises that we deliver. We hold people accountable. We get results. Number 3, manage your people today. Manage your people, take care of your people, inspire them, motivate them, care for them, nurture them, be an emotional caregiver. Number 4, create human capability for the future. And I can talk more about that. That's care about the next generation. Like I started, am I creating other leaders who are better than me? And number 5, kind of at the heart of the whole thing, am I taking care of myself? Do I have personal attributes? The attributes of caring, the attributes of listening, the attributes of authenticity, physical, social, emotional. So 5 challenges. Where am I going? Strategy. How do I get there? Execution. Who goes with me? Talent. Who stays when I leave? Next generation. And who's going to follow me and trust me? How do I care for myself? Those are the 5 that we see. And when leaders do those 5 things in any company, big or small, top of the company, entry level of the company, government, private, in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Brazil, those 5 seem to be what we call the code of leadership, the basic essentials of good leadership.
I would like to find out more in terms of these are the problems that they do face, but at the same time, these are the essentials that, or principles for leaders that they must have.
Yeah.
Are there any additional comments on why do you think these are the top essentials? Or
You know, let's talk about those. But I'm going to go to number 5 that you've posted, taking care of yourself. When I have the privilege, and I know you love to coach leaders and you've done great coaching and you talked about that. And whenever I coach a leader, I almost always begin and end with the question, are you taking care of yourself? Because if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to be very hard to care for others. And so in the COVID crisis, I know Singapore's had shutdowns and difficulties. If we don't take care of our own mental and emotional health, we're not going to be able to help other people. So we've looked at 5 elements of caring for yourself, and I'll just go through those very quickly again. Am I taking, by the way, if I were coaching you, I'd say, Mary Lynn, are you taking care of yourself intellectually? Are you curious? Are you learning? Number 2, emotionally. Do you manage your mental health, your anxiety, your stress? Number 3, socially. Are you surrounding yourselves with friends, not just the best friend at work, we've heard that, but a best friend who doesn't care about your work? Do you have good friends who you can share with? Are you taking care of yourself physically? The sleep, and you need to sleep. You were awake all night. You said, I don't sleep very well sometimes. Idea friends keep me awake. That's health, nutrition, diet, space. I love your house. It's got a beautiful room. I think that's a picture. This is actually my office, so it's not a picture. And then, so let me do those again. Are you taking care of yourself intellectually? Are you taking care of yourself emotionally, socially, physically? And then the final one is spiritually, but it's not about a religion. It's finding meaning and purpose in your life. I just, before we got on the call, I was reviewing a paper for a magazine. And when teams focus on the spirituality side of meaning and of purpose, they are more able to deal even with toxic leaders, with leaders who are not good. And when the team manage their meaning and purpose, I call that spirituality, however you define it. You may meditate, you may read the Quran, you may read the Old Testament. But when people find some sense of the divine or the purpose through meditation or otherwise, they are then able to cope with the demands that they face. So those are the 5 things that we think. Take care of yourself intellectually, curiosity, career, professionally, emotionally. I think emotionally, we get depressed when we look back. We get anxious when we look forward. Socially, having colleagues and friends. Physically, our health, our physical space, and then spiritually.